Oh, then we had him. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. We out here once again. We're going to go right into it. As you can see in the title, They Shall Lament. And was discussing this earlier in this morning, too, how with all the stuff that's going on in the world today, with especially this guy, Trump in office, he's looking to do away. He's showing you the other side of Make America Great Again. He's looking to do away with all these benefits, right? That because now they're seeing that people are misusing it. You know how people, like, even when you go back to the time when they gave those stimulus checks, you had people buying boats and shit. They set up what's that thing? There's moratorium or whatever that's what it's called. And you had people that were like, all right, well, if I'm not gonna have to pay rent, I'm gonna go buy a boat, I'm gonna go buy a brand new car. And the landlords are watching it getting mad as hell. So the Make America Great Again that he's talking about involves those cuts. It involves like financial responsibility, so to speak, which means all those Section 8, welfare, and all that stuff. That's all gonna be cut. Here. So just continuing to like what the brother was saying, that like you're saying, all that Section 8, all those type of benefits that mostly primarily women get, that's eventually they're gonna feel the hurt of that. They're gonna feel the pain of that. So trusting in America, like the precept says, thou trustest in that broken staff of Egypt, where if a man lean on it, it will bruise his hand. So people are about to feel that that pain of trusting in America, especially women. Yeah, right, that's right. Now you good. So guess what? We in that time where, like the apostle was saying in that video in his lesson, right, on Isaiah 4:1, starting on this side. Look, generally this is what happens, and you see this time and time and time again. Some hell breaks loose. One example is how you doing? One example is the movie I Am Legend. No, not I Am Legend. The other one with what's this guy's name with the book? The book of Eli, the water. And in that book, in that movie, you saw when when the chick found him, she wanted to keep following him wherever he goes. Same with the movie Bushwick. When the chick that was supposed to go and look for help for her man who got his face blown off in the subway station, she went out there, she almost got taken, right, as aid, and Batista, right, the janitor, came and saved her. He was going his way. She said she's gonna follow him. So the whole point is, when there's a struggle, women look for help, and they usually look for men. They look for strong men. Okay? So as things are getting tough out here, we were even discussing it. As things are getting tough out here, people are gonna start like that whole like, oh, let me move in with my parents and all that. Yo, times are gonna get tough where your parents might tell you, yo, we can't afford to feed you too. You're grown enough. You need to go find something, go find a man or something, and go stay over there. So more and more people are gonna be willing to throw away those comforts and band together. You might have homegirls talking to their homegirls about, yo, you think I could come in with you and your man? I'm gonna do the little stuff here. I don't make enough to afford my own place, and I know y'all need a little bit more. So, maybe I could join y'all and then help around, and then we can sort of keep that going. That'll soon become more commonplace because times are gonna get tough. And then guess what? Now she's gonna have to be under his household. But as times get harder, that whole independent shit is going out the window. Because when America was great, it wasn't great because you had single mother homes, you know what I'm saying, and women in the top positions of everything. When America was great, you had nuclear families, and they understood the having that union over there. So when he goes to make it great again, he's gonna make it to where if you ain't doing it by the system that they set up, you ain't getting shit. They ain't getting those little benefits here and there and all that. They no, we're not doing that no more. They putting in the gatekeepers now, to where instead of anybody just coming in anywhere, there's going to be gatekeepers actually verifying that you can do what it is that you got to do, and you can see prices already going up. So very soon that proud energy is going to go out the window, man. And things are getting more and more dangerous out here. So they're going to lament, as is written in Isaiah 32, they shall lament for the teats. They're going to lament, and they're going to be looking for help. And not everybody's going to want to help you. All right.
Oh yeah, I had a point to back up what you were saying a little bit earlier about it was one building that I used to work on 42nd. It was during that time where like the Palestinian, the Israel riots were happening, and I don't want to give too much away, but people tried to riot and tried to get inside of the building where I was working, and I had to stand watch or whatever. And this woman that would normally just pass by me, because I was working security in that, but the woman that would normally pass by me as if I'm nothing, just say hello. That day, she was like, she came up to sit next to me, was like, "I'm gonna stay right next to you because I don't know what's gonna happen." And I'm like, but I didn't say nothing to her. I'm like, "Yeah, all right." She stood, and it wasn't not like no close. She stood real close to me, like almost like she wanted to go like this. Oh shit! And then afterwards, everything cooled down. I find out, she had a husband. She's like, "Oh, you have a nice night." I'm like, no. But it shows you, like you were saying, in the heat of the moment, I need to find somebody that looks safe. Right. And there was other people that she could have went to as well, but whatever, she was like, "I'm gonna stand right next to you. I don't know what's gonna happen." And then after I find out she has a husband or whatever.
So it shows you the mindset that they in over there, man.
I need a man now.
Yep. There was actually there was I forgot where I watched this. I think it was in either in a movie, right? There's a TV show called Black Summer. It might have been that, or it might have been in one of the Purge movies or so. But I think it was Black Summer. But there was a scene where yeah, it was Black Summer. The zombies and shit were coming, and so you had this crew that were in the car. They got in the car, they got the keys, they locked that shit, they getting ready to go. And you had this man and his woman, and they basically came full speed, banging on the door, like, yo, please open the door. Them zombies are back there. Freaking woman gonna say, look, I'll blow your rod or whatever, all of you in the car here if you let us in. The fucking husband gonna turn around, yeah, she'll do exactly that once you let us in here. And it goes to show you like that desperation. So when women get desperate, they try to use their body, the same body that they tell you, I'm not a sexual object or whatever, I'm closed for business, you can't even take a look or touch, you know what I'm saying, all this shit, right? Guess what? When desperation sets in, that's the same thing they come out and sell to you. In the movie Belko Experiment, when the boss, right, at the very end, when he knew he had to do what he had to do, he came up on that chick, the chick that been talking shit to him, behind his back. He came up, but he had the gun in his hand, and she sees him, and she ain't never give him no play the whole time. But now she unbuttoning that shirt, talking about, I always knew you wanted me, and I secretly wanted you too. Man, he snapped her neck and called it a day and kept it pushing somewhere, man. But it's highlighting that when times get tough, that's what they try to resort to, like seduction and all of these things. But you're gonna realize that men have been so tired of your shit, they're not trying to hear that. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, Khan, that's the spirit that you brought that up. Shalom Zakwan Yahweh Shemel Shabrakatah.
Shalom, y'all.
Yeah, that's the spirit that you mentioned, that because ultimately, I was actually discussing this with my Eve yesterday about how the times that we're coming in, having gold or silver, right? Even the scriptures tell you that they shall not regard those things, because in those times, really, if you don't have the Lord, the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah with you, you're not going to make it. I don't care how much gold you have stored up. I don't care how much silver you have stored up. Talking about we're going to use it as a bargaining chip. Nah, you ain't going to have that. Yahweh Shemel Shah is going to be your only bargaining chip, right? That's if somebody knows that you're a man of the Lord or you're affiliated with a man of the Lord, they're going to service you. That's just how the spirit is going to be, And I remember the dream that I had earlier this year about the MOTV being made mandatory by somebody coming on the TV and basically just saying it outright, right? And then after that, it took effect because they used the media to push their mass programming. So that mass programming to get you to take that MOTV is going to be done via TV. How else are you going to hear about it? Right, so they're gonna have to come out and declare it openly. Now, when he said that, I remember we were at camp and we started teaching. It was breaking news, so we started bringing it up, like, yo, this was going on, and mad people. I'm talking about people just minding their own business. All of a sudden, their minding their own business became our business, right? They were coming to us like, oh shit, yo, you guys were the prophets of the Lord this whole time. Oh, and I kid you not, mad women, especially was women, like older women, younger women, they were bringing mad food, like servicing us basically, bags of rice and beans and all kinds of food, man, all kinds, mad shit. And we're like, yo, chill, like we don't have enough space in our car to take all this shit. I gotta chill, But that was an example of when the time comes, as it tells you in the book of Psalms, Psalms 110 and 3 says, "Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power." And that's also talking about the women. Okay, the women are you're not gonna have any bargaining chip except for your body. All right, because you don't really have anything in the society unless Esau gives it to you. You women don't have the ability to produce anything. You know, you only take and consume. You don't really produce anything. When it comes to like real shit that actually matters, women don't produce none of that. Okay, they just sit their ass down and consume and then complain about what they're consuming. You know, talking shit about the men and so on and so forth, right? So ultimately, like you said in the Belko experiment, when tough times hit, they're gonna be looking for the men that have the ability to either save them or hurt them. Like, oh, if you want to hurt me, I'm gonna have to give him some type of bargaining chip so he could look out for me. You know, and that's what's gonna be happening. This is a book of Micah, chapter 7, verse 10. It says, "Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord Yahweh thy power?" Right? Because women don't really, when you actually look at the concept of shame and guilt, women typically feel shame. They don't really feel guilt, right? Guilt is something more of an attribute of a man. Like you do something or you say something that causes harm to somebody else, you feel guilty that damn, like my actions caused this person's harm. You know what I mean? But a woman doesn't think like that. For her, it's more of she doesn't feel guilt like, oh, my actions caused this to happen. Very rarely are you going to have that. It's always going to be shame, right? Because it's like my image has been tainted. My pretty girl look that I have flaunting around has been tainted. Now I'm no longer going to be looked at as what I wanted people to look at me as, right? I got a BBL, you know, I got, makeup, all these different things that they do to, make themselves look better than they really are. Once those things are taken, then the miserable self that they really are, the witch behind the makeup really shows that shame right there, man. You know, nobody want to see you no more. Nobody want to look at you no more. Everybody's looking down on you. Now you used to be the baddest bitch on IG. Now in real life, nobody that's her. Damn, that's that embarrassment. That's what they call it. Oh, I'm embarrassed. You know, they don't feel guilt. You know, that's why she can never take accountability. Whenever something happens that's her fault, she gonna say, no, you are the one who did this or said this that made me do this and say this. You see? So it's never her fault. It's something that happened to her that caused her to do what she did that fucked everybody up. You know? So eventually, like it says, and shame shall cover her, meaning she's gonna be embarrassed to the highest degree. Okay? When Tyrone ain't picking up your phone calls, when you really need him to pick up, when Abu is out here, doing his thing, and you talking about he in Ramadan, so he can't deal with you. Now you tight. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about like the whole nine. Every man is gonna reject these women, bro. And the Lord has that spirit brewing right now. A lot of men are rejecting women in general. But you women that are high-minded, haughty, you got that BBL spirit on you. The Lord, hey, the men don't want to deal with that no more. It says, mine eyes shall behold her, meaning we're going to see her, right? Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets, right? So your status is going to be brought all the way down, right? Your physical status, your mental status, everything about you is going to be brought down to the point where women going to be selling themselves. You're going to have high-level women that you know are celebrities, and you're going to be seeing them in the streets like, what the fuck? Like, they got demons on them, man. You're going to see Cardi B getting a train ran on her on the side of the street somewhere just for a few pennies. Just like that. You're like, damn, like, you were at the top of the game a few years ago. Now look at you, like you're not even recognizable. We're gonna be seeing Beyonce and all these hoes, high level women. They're gonna be setting a trend that it's okay to actually be on that wretched type of state, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these women are gonna be brought low, and that's a symbolism of how America is gonna be. America is gonna be brought all the way down to the ground, and so will these women. They're gonna be stomped the fuck out. They're going to be getting the train ran on them by the military, by gang members from MS-13. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be miserable out here. And I always say this. I have this theory that, look, if you ain't part of my family, or you're not part of what we doing, when we walking past you, we're going to walk past you. I don't care what's happening to you. You could be getting gang raped by 1,000 men, and they lining up, unbuckling their belts, and you out here crying, and you look me dead in my eye. I'm looking away. I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why the Lord is bringing that kind of judgment to you. And if I would have found out that reason, I probably would have said, yo, 2,000 more men, come join this line over here. You see what I'm saying? So it's better you just leave me alone. Let me just keep walking. Do not call my name. Don't say, hey, can you help? I don't hear that shit. That kind of lingo, we don't understand no more. Help me? What the fuck is a help me? We ain't got that over here. So that's what's going to be happening to these women, man. It's just to set the tempo, right? Eventually, you're going to start seeing these things. It's going to be a trend. and you're gonna be like, damn, what the hell? These women looking fucked up. You know, the benefits are getting cut off. The teats are gonna be wearing out, and that's when the reality is gonna set in, man. You got it, bro.
That's right. Yeah.
This is the book of Sirach 26 and 22. And harlot shall be accounted as spittle.
Look it up.
But a married woman is a tower against death to her husband, right? Just as the brother Haram was going into. And harlot shall be accounted as spittle. What is spittle? You spit it out, and that's it. You don't think about it no more. It's out there somewhere on the street where you spat it. That's how you harlots are going to be accounted for. And the masses of you Americanized women, you are harlots, basically. You know, in one way, shape, or form or another, you think that you got your nose up, but you're all a bunch of hoes, man. You know, whether you digitally do it, because women now they got their nose up. Well, you could be a Christian and you could be on OnlyFans. And you could be selling feet pics and ass pics and, you know, showing your body. And that's the new thing now. You can be a shameless whore, but also be a woman of God. You see, and that's not the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's the ways of JC. That's the ways of plantation Christianity. And y'all people got it all twisted up to where you think these women, they'll post a picture of them half naked and the caption to be, I'm a woman of God. Literally. But the scripture says that a woman is supposed to cover herself up. And that's for your protection. You see? You ain't supposed to be out here gallivanting around, man. That's why we cover up in the spirit. How do we cover up? By taking upon us the truth. By getting into this knowledge of wisdom and understanding. We have a covering, right? And the wicked of our people, they have no covering. That's why they're going to be accounted as a harlot. You know, but what does it say? A wife is as a tower against death, protection to her husband. Which you're hard pressed to find that nowadays. But as for you, there's a very few sincere sisters out there that are dealing with the men of the Lord is going to preserve you. You know, because if you striving to make your husband's life easier, to make his walk in the faith easier, then hey, that's going to be a blessing to you. For the very, very few, 5 of y'all probably count you on my hand right now that's out there, there's going to be a blessing. But as for you women that are into this Americanized way, that's why you see men right now are checking out. And Jacob's trouble hasn't even hit full force yet. We in the early stages, but men are already checking out. They ain't dealing with you. That's why women are like, where all the men go? Where all the decent men go? You scared them away. You know? Women, dealing with a woman now, you liable to go to jail or get killed. She be lying. She got a man lie to you, get you fucked up. I heard a story of this dude. He was laying with a woman. The husband came home. Whether she lied to him or whether he knew, either way, that's judgment. Laying in another man's bed, and then the dude came and shot him. And he didn't even go to jail. Now the tables are turning. So the judge looked at it and said, "Yo, listen, he defended himself. He felt there was a threat. He killed the guy. That's it. And that was a judgment on your ass, man. So the Lord gonna judge y'all for the behavior, man. And we telling you out of a working labor of love for the women of our nation to get your act together, man. Cover up, humble down, and shut your ass up. You know?
Got it. I think the boy has that.
Yeah, majority of the 2/3 is going to be our women, you know, because of their wicked ways. So it's going during Jacob's trouble, you're going to see a lot of them out here straight, looking for coverings. You know, so that's why this precept that I'm bringing out is relevant to the point that the brother was making. That these harlots out here, they got hella pay, but in that day, and this is Isaiah chapter 4:1. It says, "In that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach." Right? They're gonna be desperate, man. And there's gonna be a limited amount of elect brothers out here. So it's gonna be like one per damn city. I mean, one per town. And all those women gonna be looking for the that covering by taking on the name of the elect brother that's in their town. So it's going to be 7 women. But like I said, 2/3 of it is going to be majority of our women. All right?
Yeah. I said it once and I'll say it again that the Lord is pretty much going to give you women what you want. But the thing about it, it's not going to be how you want it. A lot of women like to dress scampy and all these type of things. If you think about it, going into Jacob's trouble, look at the clothing that women have. A lot of it, like, let's just be honest, some of them be running out here. Little, what is that? The tracksuit tights or whatever and all that type of stuff. Little skimpy things. The camel toe, whatever type stuff. I'm not trying to be funny. Them tights and all that, that's what they have. That's what they're going with into Jacob's trouble. So think about it. That attracts a man now. How much more in Jacob's trouble when you have these men are gonna have them demons on where them demons gonna be active. So they're gonna see that type of stuff and it's gonna be lawless. There's not gonna be no cops or anything around to help you. You can't call 911. So what is gonna be your assistance? What's gonna be your help? See, women like to, dress a certain way because it's like, oh, well, let me do what I want. My body, my choice, right? I could do whatever. I like to flaunt my body. I like to show my body out. But you see, the Lord's going to give you exactly what you deserve and want. You like to show your body? Well, don't worry. In Jacob's trouble, you're going to get that. A lot of women like to say, oh, I want to do to beat me down. Don't worry. You're going to get that. But it's not going to be in the way that you like it. A lot of you women like to be promiscuous, be out there. You want to go from man to man. What is it? Monkey wrench, whatever it may be. You're going to get that. It's just not going to be on your terms is how it's going to be.
Right. That's answer the question.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring a quick precept based off of what Shalom just said. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 31. It says, therefore shall they eat of the fruit of their own way and be filled with their own devices. For the turning away of the simple shall slay them, and the prosperity of the fools shall destroy them. And when you read this in the NLT, it says, therefore they must eat the bitter fruit of living their own way, choking on their own schemes. For simpletons turn away from me to death. Fools are destroyed by their own complacency. So, as Shalom was saying, the Lord is being fair, man. You wanted to live this type of lifestyle. You wanted to do these type of things, although he was extending his compassion and his arm through the prophets to show you the way to life, to show you the way to peace. You decided to do the things that you wanted to do to fulfill the pleasures of your flesh. So in essence, the Lord is saying, well, this is what happens when you go down this path. You chose this path. I showed you the right path. You want to go down this path. So therefore, this is the devices that you're going to receive. So, I believe that's in Ezekiel where the Lord says, are not my ways equal and your ways unequal? So nobody can say that the Heavenly Father isn't out of just power, because he gave ample opportunity, time, and long suffering for you to get it right. Sending the prophets early, rising them up B times and sending them, but they misuse the prophets. So when the time comes of judgment, as it says in the book of James, there shall be no mercy in the time of judgment. But that's it.
That's it. Get the precept.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or the book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 12. She will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when he hath found a fountain, and drink of every water near her. By every hedge will she sit down, and open her quiver against every arrow. Right, so it's just a precept to show you that how desperate they're going to be. And in times of desperation, a man doesn't need anything from you. So she's going to offer her body.
Hey, what's interesting, Shalom, is that just like you just said, actually, the Lord built men to be self-sustainable. It's really a man has a choice, right? A man has a choice as to whether he wants to deal with a woman or not. But with a woman, if she does not deal with a man, that's a waste because of how the Lord designed her, which is to bear children. So the man could say, I don't want to deal with this woman, right? I can go deal with whoever else I want. If she can't find a man that wants to deal with her, then she can't have children. And Esau has twisted the minds of these people in this day and age to think that that's okay. But actually, it was a big shame to not have any children. Like, that's why women that were barren were it was something that really vexed them to not be able to have children. But in this society, Esau has made it to where it's a normal thing to walk around and I just live my life. Why do you think the older they get, that's when they want to settle down? Because by nature, that's how they're designed to be. And that's why they go after a certain age, when when for lack of a better word, they expire, right? They go into menopause, and then they feel that weirdness and all that, and then after that they good. I mean, they done. You know, so the Most High actually set it up in a way where that's why he first created man and then created the woman to be the man's helpmeet as a means of going on. But men can actually go about and say, look, this life that I'm in here, I'm just gonna focus on developing myself, serving the Lord, and just doing me, and I'm good. I don't need to go and seek out a woman. There's many other things that I can set my mind on, but because the Lord designed a woman to be, her legacy is just as great as her man's legacy, in the sense that, oh, you're known as such and such as wife. You bore such and such as children, and that's their glory. That's where they take that pride in. It's not in being the first woman to accomplish X, Y, and Z and all of these things. That's not how the Most High designed them genetically to be. That's right.
Oh yeah, I was gonna since you just mentioned that, but it made me think of something else. Women like to say that, or they think that men want an independent woman, a woman that's a boss chick and things like that. But if women really, and that's things that they see on social media, certain music videos that they listen to. But if you really analyze, if you want to really listen to what a man wants and when he talks to you, does a man ever talk and say, I like a boss chick or independent woman? That's not something that men really, I mean, maybe you have those few men out there that are like that may want those things, but men are not looking for women that's independent. Like, think about that concept. Like, you're an independent woman. So what's the point of a relationship for you if you're independent? If you can be by yourself, you don't need somebody. But the other point I was gonna make was a dream that I had when I first came into truth, and I started hearing things like, how women was gonna be in dire straits. And I don't know if you brothers know about that woman, Tracy Ellis Ross. I think she's the daughter of Diana Ross. And I think I was like in a concentration camp or something, and she was there as well. And somehow I was escaping, and I can still remember that dream to this day. It was this hand particularly. The way she grabbed my hand, like she wanted to like take my hand, like she squeezed it so hard, and she was like, it was like you were saying, desperation. She just said, and was like, help me. I was like, I can't. And I just left. It was like,
Damn.
yeah, I was like, but I still remember that feeling to this day. Like, she just, I was like, damn. But yeah.
God. What do we have on that? Isaiah 32, and that's gonna go into that. So why exactly she did that? Out of that desperation, because she knows, man. I forgot who said it. Somebody said it that in today's day and age, right? You got some women that are not desired, even now when it's a choice, right? It's like, yo, if say you get rejected by a man today, what does that mean? Oh, they're gonna go on social media and talk shit, right? But fine, he didn't want to go out with me, I'm gonna find somebody else. In that time, if you get rejected by a man of the Lord, that's your ass. You're not looking at it as like, oh, it just didn't work out, I'll go find love somewhere else. Maybe he wasn't the one. You're gonna try to make sure he is the one, because if he ain't the one, anybody you cook, So they're gonna be looking at men of the Lord as like, remember, in the time of necessity, people's priority is like health, safety, protection, the luxury and all that comes after. So they're not gonna be seeking a man in that time because they're like, oh, I like the way he looks, he's kind of cute. This one is not that cute. No. It's gonna be, this is my life, this is my lifeline, this is my life support. If I don't grab onto this guy and grab and make sure I go with him, I'm done. I'm cooked. There's no way I'm making it out of this. So you have some women today that are not desired, and it is known. First off, these heathens look at you already as hell no. You know what I'm saying? So your best bet is with the people of your own nation. And now you got people of your own nation looking at you like, no, hell no, I'm all right. To the point where even back then you could go into the scriptures and it'll tell you, I would rather dwell with a lion, and I forgot the other one, and the dragon, than with a wicked woman. What? So now we have like now we see why scriptures like that were written, and we're like, yo, this is so true. I would rather even just be alone or not deal with her than to deal with her in the first place. So now when it comes time for your life is on the line and you come in before a man of the Lord, I mean, at the end of the day, they ain't even gonna be up to us, because the Lord is gonna put the spirit on us as to who he wants to have mercy on or not. But it's going to be starting on this side. You're going to see where that pride and arrogance is going to lead you. When you're there crying in your car on TikTok, complaining about how they just cut X, Y, and Z. He had a video of a woman who she was mad, so she was returning her son's PS5 that she bought for him, so she could use that to pay the light bill. And she was saying that because he didn't want to give her the birthday money that he got Cash App, so she could use it to pay the bills. She's taking that PS5 to return it, and he's 13 years old. And she's taking that PS5 to return it to get the money for the light bill. Notice there was no man in that car or in that video. It was just her, you know. And now you see how hard it is to where you gotta stoop to the point of, damn, you gotta return your son's PS5 for money to pay the light bill. That's tough. We had on that.
Oh, fuck, I had a quick point on. Oh, please, Lord, don't let me lose. God damn it, the brain. Feel like I forget it.
It'll go back.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 32 and 2. And it reads, and a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind,
Mhm.
and a covert from the tempest,
Mhm.
as rivers of water in a dry place.
So as you notice, these are like shelters. These are things that people seek out in those times. When it's raining, nobody's running outside. You're trying to run inside, whether it's a car, whether it's under an umbrella, whether it's inside of a building, whether it's in a bus stop. Everybody's trying to run and get some cover, right? Go ahead.
As the shadow of a great rock in a weary land.
As the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? An umbrella is never as important until it starts raining. You know what I'm saying? You walk past this bus stop every single day, and you never see it as let me go get under that. You know, it isn't until it actually rains that you now with full speed are looking for that covering. Oh shit, what can I? Yo, damn. You know, it isn't until it's about to rain that you start thinking, damn, isn't there like some canopy area around here? I feel like I saw one of these days. Now it becomes a top priority because of the situation. And that's what the Lord is going to do. He doesn't necessarily need to really do anything to us. He just has to change the environment. You want a light to shine? Just make it dark. You know, there's some street lights that they come on. Why don't street lights come on in the daytime? You know, why is it only on at night? You turn off the light in the daytime, right? Because you don't need it. So that's what the Lord is doing. He's basically going to turn off the lights so that our lights can shine. And people are going to see that, and they're going, both men and women. But the problem is, we're going to be doing the choosing through the Spirit of the Lord. And that's when the hard times are going to come. You think men are all that shit you've been talking on them platforms? Everybody got a platform now. You know, everybody got a mouth and they got a platform. Now that demon, that big black demon, morbidly obese, diseased demon, that got the Uber one. You know what I'm saying? She Uber big. She went and got declined from an Uber ride. This demon is on OnlyFans. Ooh. And I'm here like, yo, like it takes a different level of pride. Even only that shit is off. But it takes a different level of pride to think that you are qualified to even be on a platform like that. But that's what this society promotes. It's like it's a delusional pride. You know, you're proud in being bad at something. You're proud in looking terrible instead of being encouraged to improve yourself. They'd rather encourage you to take pride in the wicked shit that you're in. And that's going to be to your detriment because that's not reality. That's not nature. And the Lord is about to bring reality in here hardcore. Like Mighty Cyrus said, I came in like a wreck. The Lord's about to wreck all y'all shits.
He also said that she doesn't think she's fat either. So and the name is Dank.
Dank, yeah, Dank, yeah.
I think she's also a rapper or something.
You're everything you're not supposed to be.
Y'all seen when she went on Breakfast Club?
Yeah, they had to bring the couch out, right?
Yeah, they brought Charlamagne and another nigga brought a big ass couch in.
He's talking about nothing. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Now that's the service that. but why? But why do we have to accommodate that? That's the problem. Why do we have to? That's what we're suffering it. You know what I mean? Like, why do we have to accommodate for that rather than this person do what they got to do? Because that's what Babylon promotes. That's the delusion the Lord is going to break. You think you're entitled to something you're not. First off, you're like a slave coming up to the son of the master, acting as though you deserve the same rights as he does. You know, why am I eating this food? You know what I'm saying? That's like if Toby, you know, they say you Toby now, right? Kunta Kinte say you Toby now. It's like Toby take the bowl of grits and throw it at the freaking slave match. Talking about fuck you think this is? Take me up into that crib and tell your wife make me some eggs. He might change the whip to a gun. because he's like, who the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, know your place. That's it. That's it. And that's what the Lord's going to do with Jacob's trouble. Throw some hands up.
Now, I just wanted to say that goes back to the book of Proverbs when we were just reading, where it says, fools shall be destroyed by their own complacency. You know, and when you go into the definition of complacency, it says a feeling of smug or uncritical satisfaction with one's own achievements. And the thing in this society is they're satisfied with their achievements of wickedness, right? They're satisfied with their achievements of non-temperaments, lack of self-control. So that's why you have this whole what is it called? Whore 808, H08, or however you say it. This whole whore lifestyle that gets promoted and gets elevated in society, where people now look at that as being a way to live, right? Or being, extra plus size. They got the whole thing with the airports and the airplanes saying, they need to make airplanes to be accommodating for big people. and everything is like, yeah, we should do that. That's right. Everybody should love everybody. Everybody should be equal. Nah, that takes away a standard of living from society, and that actually degrades society in the minds of people to where you get what you got in Babylon the Great right now.
Crazy. Disturbing, nasty work. Your head on that, and that's why we need Isaiah 32. We need it, Lord, because Isaiah 32 is going to be the driving force that's going to push into Isaiah 4:1. You need hard times. You know what I'm saying? And the problem is you don't got strong men. So you got hard times right now, and you got a lot of weak men. And if you have weak men, them women don't even come into the picture. Like the scriptures say, if the righteous shall scarcely make it, where shall the ungodly appear? Sometimes, man, I look at certain videos. The very few times a woman is forced to run, whether she left, I don't know, she left her keys in the car, she forgot something, and you see their face, and their face looks like they're really putting in their all, but in reality, you're like, yo, you're not moving. You're moving, but you're not moving. And I'm like, damn. So if I had to, I'll take 3-4 steps and catch your ass. So imagine if you were running for your life. Dang. You know what I'm saying? She got a lot of meat on her. Majority of it is fat, but when people get hungry to that point, if they see a skinny chick versus someone on the extra plus size, they're gonna show you that plus love. You know what I'm saying? This is like food for the company. It's all funny, but in The Walking Dead, they were doing that. There was a certain area they called the sanctuary, and people would come there. All right. Action, all right. People would come to the sanctuary, or I forgot the name. I think it was the sanctuary, thinking that it was like a night. Yo, they came in there. They said, yo, this place is good. Like, they got everything. They got security. They got food. They got all of this. And they eating. They're like, yo, this is some good stuff. Until somebody asked the question, well, I mean, so where are they getting their food from, though? Because, it's like, it's very scarce out here. Like, is there some supply somewhere? They showed them the supply, and then they became a part of the supply. They took them to the dressing room. They tied them up, and they woke up bent over a bathtub. And this dude is coming around with baseball bats, bang, right back of their head, kills them, drains their blood, hangs them like they're meat. You know what I'm saying? And then that's the food that they make over there. So the people that come in think it's a safe sanctuary, they getting cooked up and they getting fed on Tuesday's menu. Aunt Jemima's Tuesday's menu. That's what they get. Go ahead. So you had something, Aaron?
Yeah, I was just going. You're funny, bro. I was going to bring out a quick precept here, going into how, even from the beginning, the Heavenly Father created man first, and then He created a woman after. Now, He didn't really have to create the woman, right? Or in this case, the true understanding, He didn't really have to give Adam a wife, right? But He said it wasn't good for man to be alone, right? It's not that man can't be alone. It just wasn't good for him to be alone. And there's many different reasons why. We're going to get this one real quick. There's a book of Genesis, chapter 2, and verse 18. It says, and the Lord Yahweh Power said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. Right. So ultimately, the Heavenly Father created the woman as more of a support. Right. Because ultimately, as a man, if you got a strong man, right, you have your priorities, your goals, your aspirations, whatever the case may be, and you have your head and your mind set on that. Right. You can achieve that. It might take you however long it's going to take you based on your discipline or your drive or your will to not give up or whatever the case may be, but you will get there. As long as you pray to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, he helps you and leads the way, you're going to get there, right? But you're going to get there faster and a little bit more easier if you're with a strong woman, because a strong man with a strong woman becomes a stronger man. Okay, because now you have a woman who's really a helpmeet, as what the Lord created them to be, right? She's there to support you, right? Whatever your goal and your mission is, she's in lockstep with you, right? She doesn't come against your goals. She doesn't come against your dreams or your aspirations, because ultimately your plans are also going to cover her, right? It's very rare that you maybe Edomites, but you very rarely you meet a man who actually cares about his woman and he's like, I'm gonna just lead her off a cliff. Nah, because she's part of you, right? As Yahushua said, for this cause, a man and a woman who leave their parents and be joined together and become one flesh, right? So once you get married or whatever, she's part of you. She's part of your clan. She's part of your family. She's part of your house, right? And she gets that protection that comes to that house. When you look through all the ancient times, when a woman was with that man, she takes his name, number one. So that means that she's part of the house. Whatever comes down that house towards that man, it also affects her, you know. But if you have a strong woman, right, you're able to teach her the ways. You can get any woman at all, and the Lord is with you. You could cultivate her mind. You know what I'm saying? You cultivate her mind. You start off with the mind first. You let her know off top, this is who I am and this is what I'm trying to do. And if you ain't with it, then don't come around here. But if you're with it, then you're going to have to fall in line and follow step by step and trust the process. You see? Because nothing that you build, when you start off at the top, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to see that, because they don't see what you see. See, just like us in this truth, we know where we're going. We have a destination and we know exactly where we're going. Every step we take is one step closer to where we got to go, right? But to the world, it's just taking aimless steps because they don't see the destination. So to them, it's like, yo, what you wasting your time for? You've been doing this for all these years. You ain't got nowhere. Like, stop doing all this. But little do they know, just like everything else, when you start, everybody's going to stay away from you. They're going to question you. They're going to try to talk you out of it. They're going to make fun of you. But not until you make at that time, the beginning, you trying to tell them what you're trying to do, right? Oh, I got this going on. I'm trying to do this, you know. But then it's not until you get to that point of achieving your goal, and then they see the success, then they want to come around and be like, oh, so now you're not going to them. They come to you. They're asking you questions. Yo, how did you get to this? Yo, so this whole time, this is what you were doing? This is what you were building to? Wow, that's impressive, man. Hey, when you first started, I didn't even know where you were going with it, but now I see it. Yo, how can I learn a few things from you so I could take it and go do? That's how it works. You see? So that's going to be in the kingdom. But for now, when we build in here, you want to have as little as possible so the weight is lighter for you. You know what I'm saying? And these women nowadays, they become so much of a burden and like, I'm not just a burden, a heavy fucking burden, to the point where it's not just physically tiresome, it's mentally and spiritually tiresome as well. You know, having to battle their demonic shit. There's nothing wrong with her, but she's just in a bad mood and you got to deal with that. What the fuck? Like, who does that? We don't move like that. We don't operate like that. You're not going to catch a man just randomly just in a bad mood. Now everybody got to pay for that. Nah. You see? So mentally we're clear. See, so you could teach her, you could cultivate her mind like, yo, listen, baby, this is what's going on. This is how we going to do it, da-da-da, whatever the case may be. You know, don't question me. Don't try to fight against it. Just follow the process. I'm not going to ask you for much, right? But when I ask you for something, I expect you to do it and do it well. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take care of everything else after that. That's what the Heavenly Father is requiring from us. You know, don't do too much. Just do what you're supposed to do and you take care of the rest, right? That's as simple as that. You know, but, you know, speaking to a young man's mind, don't worry about these women. Trust me, they got nothing to offer. My mom used to say that all the time. Oh, don't worry about these girls. Stop chasing after these girls. They have nothing to offer. They're not going to help you pay your bills. If anything, you're going to be helping them pay their bills. That's more draining on you, right? You're going to be taking time out of your time to be studying and getting into the scriptures and building yourself as a man to give them some fucking attention. All because they just want attention. Oh, I'm bored. Bitch, if you're bored, find something to do, man. Go get busy. Go sew something. Go do something with your hands. Don't hit me up and call me and text me talking about, oh, I'm bored. What you doing? I hang up right then and there, man. You know, so that's you. You gotta have that mindset. Oh, you know what? She gonna be a burden. She gonna be draining my monetary gains. All right, she's not gonna help it. You know what I'm saying? She gonna be draining my attention. She gonna be draining my physical abilities. Right? But she just want to get all the time. You know what I'm saying? So all these different things, you put it all together. You think about it like, damn. Is the Babylonian women right now that we deal with, is that an asset or is that a liability? So you got to weigh out your options. And if you find out that she's a liability, you got to cut it off right then and there, bro. Don't waste time. Don't linger. Don't, oh man, but her ass is so fat. I don't know if you're going to end up messing yourself up. Because eventually it's going to take maybe 2-3 years down the line. You're going to still end up breaking up with her anyway. So what the fuck is the point of holding that 2-3 years? Meanwhile, you could be building yourself for those 2-3 years. You know, healing from all the other wounds that you've been through. All this thing, just getting yourself ready for the times that we're coming in. You know? So if you don't have the right woman around you, yo, you better just go in dolo, bro. The Lord it's going to be easier for you to move in this journey that we're about to take, man. All right? Because it's going to be just straight up chaos. I was reading a book, and I was reading a book yesterday, and it was going into how from 1776 to now, Esau is about to really turn up with their so-called New World Order plans. They said 2026 is going to be America's 250th year. So from 1776, I didn't do the math, but from 1776 to 2026, the numerology probably lines up somewhere. I'm gonna do some. Yeah. You know what?
It's 250.
Oh, there you go. Boom. See? So 250 on the dot. What do you think they're going to be doing behind closed doors from this time till then? Right? They got Trump in power. We all saw what happened yesterday with the whole Zelensky thing. You see? So that's the Lord is setting the temple. We seen it. I'm telling you, yesterday I was so happy. And I'm like, yo, this thing is actually coming to play. You know? And it just happened. Like, you might see like something small, but that shit had ripple effects. The EU nations was pissed off at America right now. They all talk about, oh, we in support of Ukraine. I said, yo, this shit is crazy. It's all playing out beautifully. You see what I'm saying? So with that happening, what's the next policy America's going to have with Israel, with Russia and Iran and them? That's even going to piss off the EU nations even more. So now we already seen the stage being set, man. And then you look here domestically, like you brothers opened up with how they're taking away all these benefits and so on and so forth. This is the time they start to deconstruct America completely. Okay? They're talking about, and again, I'm going to go into this later, right? The birth certificate, right? Your social security, all these different things that ties into making people subservient to the system. They're about to do an overhaul and make it digital. But before they get to that point, everything has to be taken away. That's why you see what you see now with Doge and all these different things. How is it that somebody who's unelected is in the state of somebody who's supposed to be elected doing the things that they're doing right now? Elon Musk. Why? How? How did that happen? How do you have all these so-called states? I'm talking about American states that have laws against you criticizing so-called the Jays, man, Israel and stuff. How? You could criticize America all you want. You just can't criticize the Jays. That tells you who's actually in power right now. You know? So all these things are playing a role, and guess what? It's all going to affect the women because they propped up the women in order to bring society down morally. Because you don't see men with their nuts hanging on social media talking about OnlyFans. It's women who are doing shit like that, right? And over sexualizing the women is what is dumbing down the men. Because when you, as a man, when your sexual vibration is off like that, it messes up your whole entire. You get knocked off your center. That's why women always mess with men with sex. Because they know that's, I'm going to get him. You know? She want to be in a relationship, she's going to throw sex at you. Because that's going to hold you down. You see? Men will promise relationships so they can have sex. Women will promise sex so they can have relationships. You see what I'm saying? So when a woman is throwing sex at you without no relationship, what is she really doing to you there? And that's, look at it in the sense of all of society right now. As the scripture says in 2nd Ezra, incontinency, right, has become, is overboard at this point. You know, over-sexualization of women. Now they shifted into children. You got little children doing twerk videos and shit. You like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's very disturbing, but this is the state that we're in. And the state of decay like this leads only to what? Destruction. All right? But you got it, bro.
Pick up real quick. Say that precept.
And this precept to back up one of the points you made. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 25, verse 8. Well is him that dwelleth with a wife of understanding, and that hath not slipped with his tongue, that hath not served. Right. So, well is him that dwelleth with a wife of understanding. If she's on the same page as you and serving you and listening to you and everything, then you're good. Okay. But if she's not, then you're in trouble, especially in the times we're coming in. You know, the 26th chapter, first verse, it says, "Blessed is the man that have a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled." It's, you know, so it says, blessed is the man, not cursed. So it's right, it's a good thing if your wife or your girl is on the same page as you. No, that's about it.
Right.
Yeah, just to add on to a point that I said earlier, like Umar Johnson, he talks about like the differences between what they would call the snow bunnies, which is the white women, and the black women. And essentially, what you have with the white women is that they're specifically speaking to like the athletes, because people are noticing a lot of black athletes have a lot of white women. And what the white women are doing, or they call them snow bunnies, is that they're getting with the man when they're at their lowest point, or like when they're starting up their career and things like that. Like what Aharon was saying is that a woman is supposed to be a helpmeet unto you. If you read like Proverbs 31, especially like NLT, the different version, it'll basically tell you how a woman, she prepares in the summertime, so that way in the wintertime everybody will have like proper clothes. She buy at the field and things like that. What does buying a field do for the man? It's like, oh, well, hey, you just bought a field. I could use that to what? Get more vegetation, more food for the family, and hey, I can make profit off of that as well. 'Cause I can sell things. She's like the brother said, she's a asset, not a liability, and that's what the white women, the snow bunnies, are being to some of these black athletes. They're being an asset to them. They're helping them out. They're with them from the bottom, so that way the man, when he gets to his highest point, when he gets in his prime in his career, nobody can really say, or he won't feel like she's only with me because I'm at the peak, I'm at the best. No, she was with me when I wasn't really nothing. She was there with me, like like when things wasn't going well, my rookie season wasn't there, people was down on me, everything, but she had my back. As opposed to the black women, they're saying that what? They want the finished product. They want you at your best. And that pretty much puts in the mindset of the black man is like, well, she doesn't really want me. She only wants, the finished product. She's only here for like me at the end. She's only here to really, for lack of a better word, to leech off me. She's not really loving me for who I truly am. And that's the difference between the white women, specifically speaking when it comes to athletes, between the white women, the snow bunnies, and the black women.
Yeah. Stuff is right.
It's the book of 1 Timothy 2:11. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. That means as a woman, you're supposed to be submissive and you're supposed to shut your mouth. Not to say that you're never going to say anything at all, but when this word is, as far as this ministry is concerned, your role is to be quiet. It's to hush up and take heed to what's coming out. And as the brother went into, Eve can't do that. Eve can't help but have something to say. Nah, nigga, but the snow bunny comes along. They know how to shut their mouth, and they know how to be somewhat submissive, more so than the Eve woman, so-called black woman. But in general, you women, what are you supposed to be doing? Be quiet and be submissive. But Babylon the Great taught you, no, that's slavery. Serving your family, taking care of your husband and your children is like a prison sentence now. That's why the Lord done shut up a lot of you women's womb, that you ain't even going to be blessed enough to have a family. Because you don't appreciate that blessing. You see? But you're supposed to be quiet. That's how you know the Christian church is out of order. They got women up there teaching. You don't got no business. Then you bring this scripture out. All right? I will read the next verse. But I suffer not a woman to teach. Plain as that is, this is a plain instruction. Women do not teach. But here you have in the Christian church, these women want to get up there with the pantsuit, you know, trying to look like a man, or sometimes they got their whole cheeks out, with some tight shit on, and then you out there teaching everything the wrong way, anyways. Even if you were teaching it right, it's still wrong because you're not being obedient. The Lord had 12 disciples; they were all men. All of the disciples that followed, that taught, they were all men. So when you come into this thing, you women that are following us, and those of you out there that have that spirit, hey, the Lord is going to bless you. You be on the comment, you might just say Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah. Keep it to that, and you good. You might have a little question, whatever, but for the most part, you're supposed to be learning silently and not teaching, because these are some grave times. We out here on the battlefield. Anybody can come up and try anything. This is a damning message to this nation of America, Babylon the Great. So pretty much everybody that walks by, whether they realize it or not, they're an enemy. and they potentially could create a problem. So that's why you women, you're not supposed to be on the battlefield. And this is all about the men. You see, I'm gonna finish the verse. It says, "But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the men, but to be in silence." See, to be in silence, to be quiet. That's a blessing, man. In the scriptures, it mentions that having a quiet wife is a blessing, man. You know, but a woman that's full of words to a quiet man, that's as an old paraphrase, but as an old man going up a sandy way. You see, but you American women, you don't know the definition of shut your fucking mouth. You just want to keep yapping and yapping and yapping. You know, and it's just completely vain talk. It's just empty. Nothing good comes of it. That's why I don't even engage a woman like that. You know, you just ignore their ass, man. And sooner or later, they'll get the message.
Hey, real quick, I sure you made a great point in the sense that women are not supposed to teach, because really when you're teaching, you're being in the spirit of a husbandman, right? You're planting. That's what we're doing. We're planting seeds, right? So first you have to cultivate the mind. That's you preparing the lesson and so on and so forth. And then you plant your seed, and then you water it, and the Lord does the rest, right? Now, when you look at what the Lord said back in Genesis, the 2nd chapter, it says that he placed Adam in the Garden of Eden to dress it. Okay, meaning that he was there to be the husbandman. He's the one who is cultivating. Now, men innately, we have a connection to nature, whether it be plants, whether it be animals, whether it be the seasons, the what, so on and so. These are all things that men, we have an innate understanding of these things, right? I'll give an example. You have a woman and say, "Hey, listen, I want you to have a nice little garden in the backyard over there," and then go and inspect it every week or every other week, and then you have your own garden. I tell you this right now, your garden is going to flourish more than her garden. Why? Because she's not innately going to understand, oh, it's important for me to water the plants with this type of pressure. This time of the day, I'm supposed to do it twice a day, morning before the sun come up and evening after the sun go down. That you got to know that, right? You got to know that, after a couple of weeks, you're going to have weeds that are going to start growing around these plants. I got to pluck them all out. Right, a couple of weeks after that, I gotta kind of like shuffle the soil a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So the nutrients could kind of like form through. I gotta water the soil a little bit so the bacteria in there could also travel around and distribute a little bit more of the nutrients in the soil. These are all things that men will naturally know. And then you start seeing the plants germinating. Okay, it's a tomato plant. All right, so eventually it's gonna start leaning. Let me get a stick and put it under so it could guide it, so it could stay up. You know, or this is a plant that's gonna start wrapping around anything that it sees. So in order not for it to interrupt the other one, let me put a stick here or put a barrier here so it blocks it from going over to this side. You got to know all these things. Women are not going to know that. She probably going to go through the first trial. She probably not going to get that many crops, right? But she's not going to learn from why she ain't get all these crops. She's just going to do the same thing again because she got enough crops that she could use. We don't think like that. We're thinking more, if I'm making a garden, whatever I planted needs to come out good. If I'm going to lose, it's probably going to be 1 or 2 plants that died because they were too small or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, I should have a full stock ready to be harvested when the time comes. You see, but that's innate. For you to go from planting to harvest, you as a husbandman, you got to be on top of that shit. You got to be constant. You're always there, morning and evening, all throughout the day. You know, sometimes depend on the plant. You can't put it directly under the sun. It's going to burn that motherfucker out, right? These are natural things that we will know naturally. Even dealing with animals, from a young age to adult age, you got to know how to bring them up. You got to know how much food they need. You know how much water. An animal can communicate with you on what it needs, but a woman is probably not going to pick up on that. A man will, but a woman will not. Right? That's why brothers who have animals and stuff, you're able to have a different connection with that animal compared to any woman in that house. Right? The woman is going to be all cute and cuddly with the animal, but you're going to be more of I'm bringing you up, like I'm training you to be how I want you to be. There's a different spirit. The animal responds to you different compared to the woman in the house. Probably animal respects your presence more than it does with the woman. You see, even animals know that. You see what I'm saying? I have a joke where even children, they know who the authority is even before they get to an age of speaking. Right? A child will play with his mom's titties, but a child is never going to play with his father's balls. Right? They even know that naturally. A child is not going, Dad, try to grab your sack. No, he's not going to do that. Yeah, he tried. Yeah, yeah. Shit's just hanging. Let me put my nope. He's not gonna do that. You know, but for the mother, he gonna be grabbing up the titties, sucking. You know what I'm saying? He's glowing through that. That's his food source. You see? So that's another example. The Lord uses nature to show us that the duty of a man and the duty of a woman are two completely different things, right? Now, when you go to that word woman in the online etymology dictionary, and elders, brothers, we always bring this out. All right, the word woman literally means female servant. Okay, it's a compound word. Woman is broken down to wife. Like wife is a female servant, right? And then woman, right? So a wife, woman, or a wife, man. So the wife of a man. Okay, so a woman is literally a servant / wife of a man. And why are you a servant of that man? You're not serving him in the sense that y'all all go 50-50. Oh, he's out working, picking up sticks. So you out there picking up sticks with him. No, you're at home doing the things that he doesn't have to come back home after that long day outside to come back and do. So that shit is tiring. You spend 8 hours outside working. The sun goes down. You come back home. Now you got to do some more work at home just so you can feed yourself. So that's why Adam was like, "Man, Lord, I'm naming all these animals. I'm taking care of the trees, the plants, I'm doing everything. And I come home and I got no food. Now I got to come chef something up. House is mad cold. The pots are cold and empty. Hey, Lord, if you give me a woman, she could do the cooking, the cleaning, the small little shit. So I don't have to worry about that. That's where the help meet comes in. So we're not asking for much from women. We just want you to do what we need you to do when we need you to do it. That's it. You see what I'm saying? Don't be a burden. Don't be a headache. Don't be a demon. Just stay the fuck out the way. You see what I'm saying? If you can't do that, find your way up out of here, man. The door is there. It's open. I'm going to help you get out. See what I'm saying? I'll pack your bags and everything, and I'll meet you at the door. It's all good. You don't have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? But that's, again, just an example. Like Ashyar said, when you're out there on the battlefield, the Lord has men on the battlefield already. You know what I'm saying? You don't see a woman out here, you become a distraction. You weaken the army if there's a woman there. That's why America is going to get bombed the hell out, because they got all these females on the damn military, man. When you go to Russia, majority of the military is men, right? You go to China. I know China, they got the women part and then they got the men part, but they're not all mixed and intermingled like America does. America, they got a female who's a damn lieutenant talking about she on the battlefield. I'm like, you got a big ass, your fine ass is on the fucking battlefield. Bring your ass home and stay in the kitchen, girl. You playing, like you got hey, I saw the elder Malcolm's video this morning. He's going about how these women in the military, they be getting ran through like a motherfucker, man. And it's like, why not? Like the elders Taziah once said years ago. He said, if I'm on a battlefield and I see a woman pulling up on me, bro, you brought me a treat. I'm thanking you. The war is over at that point. I'm putting my guns down, like, embrace. Let's sit and have some dinner, bro. You a good man. They know more at that. They know more war at that point. You brought me a treat. A whole bunch of ass. What's the point of fighting? You see? So that's how we think about it. Like, if I see a woman on the battlefield, the war is over, bro. You already told me you're surrendering. You're bringing women to me at that point. See? So that's why women are not supposed to be on the battlefield. But guess what? America says women can be on the battlefield. Niggas who are soft, as feminine as hell, could be on the battlefield. Meanwhile, the Lord told us, if you about to go to war and you gather all your men, he said, if you just got married, take your wives back home, go enjoy your wife. If you don't have the spirit and the goal to be a man and to go out there and fight like a real man and even lose your life, don't go back home. Don't come over here, because this is for the real men. You see, the men who are built for this, and they ain't no parts in women. No. Okay, women are not built for war. Sit your ass down and relax. We're gonna come back for you later. You see, and that's all I had to say on that. But women are supposed to be servants, and that's it. Zaquan, you have saying? You got it, bro. Zaquan. Bakar, you got it.
Oh, you got a point. Oh, no, I forgot. What precept we on here?
Yeah, 32.
Bring that up.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 32, verse 9, and it reads, "Rise up, ye women that are at ease."
And they're at ease. Why? Because this society has put them in that mindset to be lulled to be asleep, to be at ease, right? Because they're not doing the responsibilities that a regular woman would do, because they don't have to, right? They can gain whatever they want to gain, and then some, for actually being a demon than being a responsible woman. One example is a woman will go on social media and she'll do a video about how she cooks for her man, she takes care of the household stuff, and guess what? People will get on there roasting her and flaming her, saying, she's a pick-me and yada yada. Oh yeah, cooking with Kaya. Yep. Tell us about that.
Huh?
Motherfucker.
Oh, you never heard of her?
I've heard about her.
Oh yeah, she just I guess she just vlogs or whatever it is where she just cooks meals, and a lot of women were getting on her, like you were saying, calling her a pick me. But if you, I forgot, I think it was Cardi B that said something about it. Like she said, like how women, there will always be, for lack of a better word, animosity between women, because here it is, she's just in the crib chilling, cooking and things like that, showing you meals, which some of you women should take that and be like, okay, I'm gonna take what she's doing and go bring it back to my man. But no, you're hating on her because what? A lot of men are flocking to her. Because one of the ways to a man's heart, his one of the ways to a man's heart is what? It's food. And a lot of men were looking at that, and what women don't like that type of stuff because they get jealous. So it's like, oh, all these men is like it. She's doing that for attention to men. You know how women can be, and it's like, yo, she's actually just truly just doing something that's what she like to do. But because a lot of women, they can't cook, they can't do this type of stuff, so they get jealous, saying, oh, she's a pick me, she's this and that. And Cardi B was just basically saying, you always gonna have women just being jealous or just doing some bickering type stuff. Because why? Whether a woman is doing something, for lack of a better word, innocent, like what she's doing, or you have the whole, like you said, the OnlyFans thing, women just always have an opinion about something.
Yeah. They feel threatened. Because guess what? If a woman doing good, she going to be picked. So what's wrong with being a pick me? And you gonna find out why it is good to be a pick me, because in that time you trying to get picked. You know what I'm saying? The other boys, you gonna kick your ass down the street. You're gonna be a kick me. Good.
Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech.
Yeah, you careless daughters. To the point where the Most High had to address your ass via Isaiah in here, because y'all were doing the same shit even back then. I forgot which brother said it about a woman. I think you said it about not taking accountability. Freaking going back to the garden, Eve did the same shit. When Adam said, well, she deceived me, what did she do? She said, well, the serpent deceived me. But it's your fault. Because the Most High told your ass what you weren't supposed to do, and you did it. So it's with you. The serpent was going to do what he was going to do. You know what I'm saying? The serpent's job is to do what he did. Serpent ain't trying to do righteousness. His goal was to do wickedness. It was your job to maintain the obedience to the Heavenly Father, and you did it. But that accountability, it ain't over there. So the Lord is addressing it. He's saying, look, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Ye careless women. And you can see that in their everyday traits. You put a GPS in her hands that's telling her make a left here and she's gonna make a right. Oops. Run over the damn curb, almost hit a pedestrian, talking about, I didn't have my coffee this morning and shit. Why he even on the sidewalk in the first place? What do you mean why he's on the sidewalk in the first place? It's always somebody else's fault. Right?
Many days and years shall ye be troubled.
Why are they going to be troubled? Because the Lord is going to shift the world back to how it should be. Right now, the earth has shifted out of course. And the Lord is going to grab it with Jacob's trouble, and he's going to shift it, boom, right where it's supposed to be. And it's going to be a hard reset for a lot of people because they've been deceived into thinking this shifted position is how the world should be. So when the Lord brings reality, they're gonna be, whoa, like this shit is violent. You know what I'm saying? This shit is dangerous. There ain't no respawns in this mode. It's a one and done. And they're gonna realize like this is reality. This is the world that the men that wrote this book were living in. And that's why people were so, straight up about things, back in the ancient world. So the pain and suffering the Lord is gonna use to actually reset the minds over here. That's a quick reset. The Lord has given us the easier, the better way, which is via the scriptures, right? So we're learning and we're renewing our minds daily, right? But with them, they're gonna need a hard reset through pain and suffering. And even then, you still gonna, Lord might have mercy on a couple, but the rest of them, you're gonna get a hard reset, and then you're gonna shut down to be brought back again. Because some of you, there's no fixing. The Lord said, look, I cleaned up. No, Lord, please. Lord God. What did Peter say? I've never touched anything unclean from my youth. We're going to be saying that to some of these demons over here. Okay?
Yeah, to add on to the point, like he was saying, there's a reason why things were so strict back then in the ancient world with women. As far as like even going into the tent, you would have a separate place where the woman would be, and if anybody went there, a man would pretty much kill a dude if he went to the tent or the area where the woman was, because that's your woman, that's the area for them. You're not supposed to be there. there's things that section off. Even during the temple, you had the inner court, which was the court of Israel, and then I believe it's the middle court, which is where the women were at. You didn't have all this inclusivity, everybody all together and things like that, because back in Israel, men knew how men were. You see a fine woman, you gonna like it. She's pretty, nice, all that type of stuff. You gonna like, and you gonna want to push up. That's why you have in the law that look, if a woman gets taken and things like that. That's why those things are in the law. I don't want to go too much, people don't get crazy with that. But that's where there's certain things in the law about these things to protect women. That's why you're supposed to dress a certain way, because men, when they see the curves, they see the pretty face, they see things. Naturally, human nature or man's nature, you're going to be appealed to this type of stuff. Huh? You're going to be appealed to this type of stuff, and what? Man going to be nobody around, ain't no man to help you out. All right, I'm going to take it. That's just how it was. So that's why that's why you're supposed to be clothed up. That's why you're not supposed to have your things, your body out there revealed like that. Because they'll say, oh, don't objectify me. I'm not some piece of meat. But hey, you're showing yourself like a piece of meat. Dave Chappelle had that joke. I'm going to try to recite it the best I can. But women be like, complain, why are you coming and approaching me like I'm some type of hoe or something? Just because I'm dressed like this don't mean I'm a hoe. Well, he said, okay, imagine if I was dressed like a police officer in the street and there was a problem that happened and people came up to me like, officer. It was like, what you think? Just because I'm dressed like an officer, I'm a police officer? Like, so why are you dressed like this then? Because you're putting it, the way you dress puts an image out there. The way you act puts an image out there. That's why you have it known that like you were saying, a lot of these other nations particularly, and a lot of men of our nation are realizing that they don't want to deal with the women of our nation because of what? The way they dress, that presents a certain image. The way they act, the mad black woman, the crazy black woman, the independent black woman, the bossy black chick. They don't want to deal with these things because what? Image is a very important thing. How you put yourself out there is important. And the image of the black woman is very low. That's why she's the least desired woman, because of how you act, how you dress, how you think. All these things pretty much, for lack of a better word, put you out there as least desirable amongst mostly our nation, but even these other nations. That's why people don't want to have to deal with it.
Sirach 26:8, a drunken woman and a gatherer abroad causeth great anger, and she will not cover her own shame. Yeah, that type of behavior, and that's the mass of these women. The week Friday night comes, they out there drunken, gathering abroad. Something happens to them. Oh man, that's such a tragedy. But your ass should have been at home. You are the weaker vessel. You are subject. You're a prey. You see, even us as men, we don't be out there all over the place. And we're the stronger vessel. We can actually defend ourselves. So what the hell makes you think you're gonna be out there at 12 midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock, man? They'll be still out. Doing Lord knows what, man. Gathering abroad. And it reads, and she would not cover her own shame, right? Because being naked in the scriptures is associated with being ashamed. That's why that judgment came upon him, or upon his son Canaan, because he looked upon his father's nakedness.
Right.
Whereas Shem and Japheth understood, and they went and covered him up without looking at him. Because even then and now, people are supposed to know that, yeah, nakedness is something that's supposed to be covered up. But y'all just be throwing it out there on Front Street. And then that wonder why nobody wants you. Oh, I can have any nigga I want. Yeah, well, a lot of men will want to pop you, but nobody wants to wife you. And it says, the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids, right? Well, they say you can't judge a book by its cover. And for you women, that's actually not true. We can. Because based off of how you present yourself and the haughty looks, that's the eyes of whoredom. The big eyelashes looking around. She's looking for the next victim. You see?
It's interesting though, right? Because books have illustrious covers for a reason. They exactly. They want to captivate you. So just like you were saying, some of them will bring out that quote. Say you can't judge a book by its cover, and then associate themselves with it. But a book is an object, and you don't want to be objectified. So why use an analogy that's applied to an object over there? So long story short, that's why the scriptures talk about not giving any appearance of evil. You know, why do you think we don't come? When you got dudes that go online dressed all like suspect, right, doing wild shit, you know, wearing some crazy suspicious attire, militant. Like we stay away from that because we're not. People don't know you, so they judge you based off of what they see, what the appearance you give off is. A doctor and a nurse wear certain attire so that even though you don't know whether they're a doctor or not, you can tell this is somebody I can go to. I have this problem. Thank you. They can be identified. A harlot dresses specifically like that so that when men see her, they know what she's about. So she can attract her prey without having to come and give you flyers and business cards telling you she's a harlot. Got it? If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty. And this is what you have in this modern world, is the massive 99.9% of these American women, they have abused themselves through overmuch liberty. They're just like grown children. Children left to their own devices will destroy themselves. They don't have any guidance. They don't know what to do. So you women, you are kept in straitly. You're supposed to be under your father until a man of the Lord comes along. That's preferably right. A man of the Lord comes along. All right. And then you are given to that man. So you're always under a man's jurisdiction, whether it's your father or whether it's your husband. And that's supposed to be two men. And the father's over you until the time where you got a husband, and then he's over you. Because in the scriptures, it says even that if a woman makes a vow, her husband can do away with the vow. You got all your dreams. I'm my own thinker. I'm independent. Yeah, but in the Bible it says I can cancel your whole shit. All right. I could veto your shit. Mm-hmm. You know? Oh well, I made a vow to the Lord, so you can't. That's between me and God. Well, actually, no. You got to go through me to get to the Lord. Right. That's an example of that right there. You know, real quick in the law, right? There's a law on jealousy. Why isn't that law in reverse? There's no reverse equivalent for that. There's a law that says if the spirit of jealousy comes upon a man, he could take the woman to the elders, right? They give her the concoction, and they can see if her thigh rots, if she's been unfaithful or not. There ain't no law that says a woman, oh, I feel like my man has been, because there is no such thing, right? If a man is committing adultery, it's only going to be that he's dealing with another man's woman. But if a man is dealing with another woman, you read it all throughout in the book of Kings. It talks about this guy had 14 wives, 28 wives, whatever the case is. There's no law that says a woman could go here and I'm bringing these charges up on my man. And just like what you were saying, the Most High, remember, the law came from the Most High. So the Most High himself is the one who said that if a woman, she makes a vow, the father or the husband can disannul it, and the Most High is going to listen to the father or the husband. The same Most High is the one who gave the law about if a spirit of jealousy come upon a man, he can go ahead and do X, Y, and Z. So guess what? All the things we're reading to you, you feel butthurt about that? That comes from the Lord. The Most High is the one who says X, Y, and Z. We're following what the Lord said. So you gonna come got a problem with us and say that the Most High, you going straight to the Lord.
They got a problem with us. Oh, you Israelites, y'all so rough, y'all out here. Well, we're not the ones that are at war with God. You bitches are. So you take that, check to the bank and cash it, bitch. And we'll see how it goes in Jacob's trouble. Because it ain't gonna end well for y'all. We know that. There's no reason to even we're not emotional about this. We just telling you the facts as it is. The Lord is gonna deal with you. We're trying to help you out. But you don't want it. In Proverbs, the first chapter, the Zaquan had brought it out. And earlier in that chapter, it mentions what? My brother remembers that it's escaping me.
Yeah. It talks in Proverbs 1.
Yeah.
You mean like the 20 on down or the
Yeah,
top
around 20, like.
Yeah, it talks about how long will you love simplicity, right? Simple ones. Yep. Wisdom cry without. Yep.
Yeah. So you women, the hand has been stretched out. That mercy has been stretched out to you, but you slap it away every time. So we have the point where we're like, all right, fuck you. If a woman wanted to learn, they're gonna have to come to us and learn, because the scripture says a woman is supposed to learn from her husband. You see, not from the pastor at church that you end up going to sleep with afterwards. It was a bunch of adultery and wickedness happening in them goddamn churches, man. You see, so this ministry, this truth, the way that we conduct ourselves, this congregation is of a completely different fashion from this world. And that's why it's not popular to the masses. That's why we get on IUIC a lot, because they have that woman friendly doctrine. That woman friendly. No, we are gonna give it to you raw. You see, the scriptures favors men every time. Because you women, you cannot be given any type of power. You're gonna abuse it. Corey Holcomb said something that was really interesting, right? And I agree with him. He said, shit, I like a woman that's in poverty better than a woman that has money. And he was on there with Cam Newton, and Cam Newton was like, his jaw was on the floor. Oh my gosh. Because he'd be simping for these women. But that's better to have a woman that's in poverty, man. And her well-being and benefit is based off her husband. Instead of her coming and she got all this money, then she could just walk away if she feels like it. But if she's relying on you, which is how it's supposed to be, in the ancient times, if a woman had all these wares in this business, where do you think she's taking that money to? Her husband. And then he's going to dictate and say, all right, listen, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. If I like what you're doing, you got these garments, we can double invest in that, and then you keep it rolling. I like what you're doing there. That's what Proverbs 31 goes into. Buy to feel. And she did a good thing for her husband. So it's like, oh, okay. Again, the word asset. You're helping me out. So now, you may be giving me a little bit more, responsibility, but this is a good responsibility, because profit can come from this, and this can also aid the family in more food as well. That's right. Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say, right now, brothers is on the tip like treating y'all like how y'all dress. We prefer y'all to be the harlots that y'all claim to be, because that y'all say that y'all not. Because the way that y'all carrying yourself, and when y'all go out on a date, y'all want top dollar, like kind of like red carpet treatment. But y'all not really worth the red carpet treatment, because at the end of the day, we see all the fake shit that y'all wearing, and we coming with the idea like, yo, well, all that fake shit that you wearing, you are acting fake. So we ain't gonna perceive y'all as a virtuous woman if you got the big wigs on, the eyelashes and the makeup. We gonna treat y'all just like how you treat a harlot, like you paid them a flat rate, $40. You're gonna be treated like you worth $40, man. And the Lord jacked y'all up to where that's how he got y'all. Quick precept is Isaiah 3:16. It reads, moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, like how y'all be wearing the heels, and y'all walk like y'all all uppity and all that, but y'all dress like straight up sluts. Be looking at y'all as what y'all are actually, man. We losing interest is wiping y'all up, because how y'all acting. So it's like y'all losing interest. Y'all devaluing yourself when y'all come out here looking like that. Reading on, it says, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. That's the tinkling of the heel, right? And so the Lord said also in verse 17, therefore the Lord will smite thee with the scab, that smite thee with the scab, the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. That scab is when you got bullhead. Y'all putting on them perms in your hair, trying to straighten your hair. So the Lord cursed y'all with baldness, man. And when y'all wear them wigs, that's a red flag for us. We pop the balloon instantly. Or like I said, when when y'all approach us or we approach y'all, it's as if we making a proposition of soliciting, man. Y'all value has been devalued. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's about it that I want from the verse off. But it says, you know, uh, the scab or the crown of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret part. Right? So your privates is gonna be all out of order, and exposed. Like, yo, we don't want that. We want a virtuous woman. Sister just walked past just now when she heard the brother was speaking about how, clothing and modest apparel. She kind of fit the description. She kind of threw a smile because she felt like, well, I fit the description. I got a long dress on. I ain't got no wig on and all that. So the sister kind of will fit in that eye as being, physically worthy of giving them our attention. Y'all sisters out here right now, man, y'all setting yourself up for failure. You know, there was other sisters that walked by with the tighter power on, and it was like how should I say non-interested, man. You know, that's it.
Yeah, you
'Cause
got us a coin.
Kind of, I was just going to say that when you think about the dynamic between men and women, going back to your point about how the Lord is about to shift everything back to its proper state, women don't respond to discipline, right? And that's why when you go to, because discipline is really created for man, right? That's why women aren't disciples. You know, men are disciples, right? Men can actually respond and learn from chastisement and learn from being disciplined. A woman, even when you go to children, if you have a daughter, you keep her away from things, right? You, as the scriptures even says, Sirach 26, verse 10, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she should abuse herself through overmuch liberty. So a woman, you're supposed to, if you have a daughter, you're supposed to keep her in a house. For a son, you know, you would like have him go out there and experience things, and then based off of his experience, you would tell him, okay, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're not supposed to do, this is what you learn from that. But for a daughter, you're supposed to keep her from those things because she doesn't have the proper way to, you know, wisdom was going to use it. She doesn't have the wisdom to actually discern from the experiences that she would obtain. So in a sense, you're supposed to say, you know what, you're not even going to experience these things. I'm just going to keep you from that. And then once you're of age, I'm going to give you to a proper man that is of a man of the Lord. He's going to bring you up and keep you in and protect you from the things that his word and really protect you from yourself, because it tells you that I'm gonna read this in the another translation. It says, "If she is too self-willed, be on guard and don't be surprised if she disappoints you." Right. So if a woman left her own, mindset, she's going to disappoint you, and that's what ultimately what the serpent did with Eve, because he knew that he couldn't get Adam because Adam was disciplined. He understood, he was on point with what the Lord told him to do. But with Eve, he was able to entice her through the pleasures of the flesh, which is why Paul said, "She that liveth in pleasures is dead while she is alive." So ultimately, when the Lord brings the Jacob's trouble, all hell breaks loose, women are going to be shifted back into a mindset of not being, over liberty, because the Lord's going to take that liberty away from them. It's not as if they're going to say, "Oh, I choose this." You're not going to have a choice at that point. It's either the only choice is you're going to have to get corrected or you die, right? And that is really through fear. The Lord, and that's how the Lord deals with Israel as a whole, especially with the man. Because even for us, as the Lord said, He likens the daughter of Zion to a woman. Really, when you look at Israel as a state of people, if the Lord left Israel to their own devices, then we'll just continue just to be going off, going off, going off. But the Lord has that remnant that ultimately, through the man, are disciplined, and through that, He's going to take those men and change them, take them out of that scenario, and then give them the proper mindset to be correct, to be in that correct mind state. But for as far as the actual females of Zion, they're not going to get it through discipline and going through the experiences and all these things. They're going to have to just go through fear, and then whoever in this time is able to, for a man of the Lord to be deal with a man of the Lord, or a man of the Lord is able to deal with them, they're just going to have mercy on them. The Lord is going to have mercy on them through those men, and then take them into the kingdom. But for the rest of these women, you're not getting chastised. You're getting destroyed.
That's it. That's it. You guys have yeah?
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say then backing off the point the bar made earlier was as we were speaking, the Lord had many examples of the kind of woman we've been talking about, with the tights on. That's why they call it second skin, because you can see like everything, the whole behind is out, cheeks, you see it all. So it's like, what is there to really, sometimes when a woman covers up, it leaves something to the mind, like, man, it's a mystery. It makes it more intriguing, and they can showcase their natural beauty, because the only thing really showing is their face. You know, the sister that walked by earlier, she had her head covered, the skin looked nice. You know, she looked like she smelled good. You know what I'm saying? And that's the type of woman that would intrigue a man of the Lord. You know, but even then, you got to be careful because they do all that and still be wicked as hell.
Yeah.
But just the example that was shown, you see, and that's rare to find nowadays. That's much rarer to find, and that is how the Lord looks at His elect, as a woman that's covered up. That makes us attractive to the Lord. You know, Lord's will with those men. That's why the Lord says He likens the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. A woman that's like that, she looks delicate. She looks like something that, and the man in you is like, yo, I will protect her. You know,
Right.
the same way the Lord is looking at how He's going to protect the elect, because the elect is acknowledging, like, yo, I'm weak. You know, I need you. That's why the scripture says, Jacob, thou worm. We're in a lower state. We're in a weak. We're in a bad situation. So us getting into this knowledge and asking the Lord to save us is likened unto us covering up. And I got a precept, real quick to go into that. Revelation. We don't buck up when the Lord tells us to do something. Hey, to the best of our ability, the Lord say jump. We say how high. The Lord say do your 3 videos. We strive to do more than that, to the best of our ability. You know, studying, getting down with the brothers, everything that the Lord said to do, to the best of our ability, we doing those things. So we don't have a problem obeying the Lord. Why you got a problem obeying us? See, this is Revelation 16 and 15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. See, us getting into this knowledge, having this truth, being in the Rakak Wadash, the Holy Spirit, is likened unto us being covered up. You see? Because the Lord said what? He's coming as a thief. He's coming at a time where you least expect it. Hey, man, things could pop off this month, in the month of March. You know? Hey, the Ides of March, the March 15th, they thought when Julius Caesar was betrayed. So shit was popping off in the ancient Roman Empire in March. So we'll see what happens now. You know? Nero is talking spicy. He's getting on all these other world leaders, man. Y'all seen what happened with him and Zelensky.
Oh yeah.
So things are about to get set off any minute now. So the Lord's going to come as that thief, and He's going to catch the majority of our people off guard because they're not watching, they're not paying attention, they're not keeping their garments to be covered up and protected for the time of Jacob's trouble. You got to have that protection, man. See, because a man is not going to help a woman that's out here pouring herself around. He's going to help the woman that, yo, she's covered up, she's inside. She's making it easier for you to protect her. Because you're having the wrong woman could put your life in danger. It happens all the time. These women go to the store, niggas say, yo, it's 75 cents, and the chip used to be 50 cents last week, and the bitch want to fight. So now somebody dies over a quarter. Yo, the dude, he was making a problem. He do show up to the store, dude got the thing on him, pop, dead. All over a woman that didn't know how to keep her ass and be shamefaced. Keep her ass in order, you know? And that's how we're supposed to towards the Lord.
Got that? Which one is this?
First Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you.
Yeah, so we understand the times, right? We understand the seasons because the Lord told us that by the scriptures. You know, by learning the scriptures, understanding prophecy, and understanding the times we're in, we can look at that and basically decode the world and the times that we're in based on everything that's going on. Right? So as the Apostle Paul said, right, even to them, which applies to us now as well, you have no need that I write unto you. Right? We don't need to come and teach each other what time we in. Go ahead.
For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night.
Right. So we know that it's gonna come suddenly. Right? The day of the Lord is gonna come suddenly, right? With unexpected to a lot of people. You know, we watching, we got our eyes open, and we got the spirit of the Lord around us to protect us. And so we're able to see afar off. And that's what we base these things that we speak on about. The things that are about to happen. Not the things that are necessarily currently happening now, because some people see the things happening now and it's still not enough for them. You know, they still think that it's just gonna come and pass. Go ahead.
Verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety.
It's like seeing maybe you're on a road or you're on the sidewalk and you can see up the hill, there's a truck coming very, very fast. And you see that truck ran the first red light and you see the driver panicking, you instinctively think as a driver something is wrong. And then the car is now going in other directions. Then this dude is now looking like he's coming down the sidewalk. You're going to move. You're going to tell whoever is with you, yo, hold on. Something don't look right. We got to go. Somebody that is not keen or aware would stand there thinking that there's no way that this guy's actually going to come and hit me on the sidewalk. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, he's definitely not going to do that. And at most, they'll scream out saying, I know he ain't about to hit me on the sidewalk, standing on the sidewalk, and then get run over. And you're wondering, like, the fuck? Yeah, this shit was mad for
And, and then they'll be like, "Oh my God, he just hit me."
I can't believe you just hit me. Look at this. Man, yo, run back in reverse on him, man. Because guess what? They're going to stand, and you have more than enough time to move. But you're standing there, I know he ain't going to hit me. Oh, he's about to hit me. What just happened there? That's literally the mind that the mindset that people are in. They've been conditioned to that point, and now they're in the hospital talking about, I'm trying to sue. You should have got out the way, man. You know, as they move, bitch, get out the way. But you should have moved your ass out of the way, you know? Just like they moved their ass out of the way of accountability, when it comes to this shit, they're going to stand right there and get hit like a deer in the headlights. And that's how the Lord's going to hit this place. Y'all going to be like deers in the headlight. You're going to see it coming, but you're not going to be able to move to the right or to the left. You're just going to be stuck right there as the freaking truck is coming, and then boom. Got it?
For when they shall say peace and safety.
Right. That means they're in a mindset that everything is going to be good again. They let their guard down. Right. They're not seeing the things that are really about to happen upon the earth. You know, they're getting ready to live life. Oh, Trump is going to make it all good again. We all right. We might just be all right. When they say, go ahead.
Then sun destruction cometh upon them. As travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Yeah, look, when a woman's water breaks, she's not escaping. She's not escaping. The second that she gonna have the contractions, and the second that thing, the baby's coming. That's all she can say. The baby's coming. The baby's coming. So you need to prepare because she's not holding that nigga. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, move. I'm coming out, and I'm coming out now. And that's how the Lord is going to make this thing when it hits. It's going to be like that water broke and you stuck in that feeling until it's over. Right? That's really what it is. Like if a woman goes into labor, she's stuck in labor until it's over or until there's some means that obviously Esau comes with his scientific shits to try and ease it. But you ain't doing nothing until that thing is over. You stuck going through it. And that's what it's going to be like when Jacob's trouble starts. There's no pause button. There's no slow down button. There's no timeout. I want to go back to the way things were. That doesn't exist. You're gonna go through Jacob's trouble until it's over. All right, that's something that people need to put into their minds. So you're thinking, oh, you talking about serve you? The hell I look like serving a man? But in actuality, if women experience what it's like to actually serve a man, they would want to do it. Their ego and pride just has a problem with hearing the fact that they're saying they're going to be submissive or they're going to serve a man. You can have a woman that is actually submissive and serving you, and you tell her, I like how you submissive to me, and then she, nah, what you mean? So I'm not submissive. I'm not doing that submissive shit. But that's exactly what you do. So they have a hard time tying in those words, the concept, to the actual actions. You like, yo, you like how you stay home, right? You like how I pay the bills. You like how I do these things, and all you gotta do is laundry, clean the dishes, cook. You like cooking for me, don't you? You like it when I tell you your food tastes good. Like, yo, that's what's up. You like that. Well, when I say serve me, what you think I'm talking about? I'm come home and you in the basement shackled up, and I'm coming with whips and chains and shit. This ain't 50 Shades of Grey. So apparently that's what they think when they hear serve. You know what I'm saying? Man, this food tastes good. Bam. Fucking tastes so good for it. Come here. Make me some more. You know, like, who does that?
Yeah, earlier today I was listening to the other Apostle Tahar. He was saying a couple years ago that his girl who's now his wife wanted to break up with him, and then the elder was like, "No, you're not, because you're like an ornament to me." And she never forgave him for that, but they're still together to this day.
Oh, yep. They gonna want to be ornaments. You asked something? Oh, okay, I saw something. All right. Where we at? Oh, we were in first test, right? Did we finish that? On
Yeah.
all right, let's get back in here. And you know what's interesting? Y'all gotta remember all of these lessons that we've been doing. Right now, it may feel like, look, it's just like when you were a child and you get your ass beat for doing something wrong. You know, you in that moment, you'd be mad as hell. Like, man, I want to run away and shit. You planning your escape, you packing your bags, get your little few ass clothes that you got, thinking you're gonna run away or you gonna leave this shit. Like, I can't wait to get them back. Wait till they ask me to do dishes and see how I'm gonna say no. You know, like, you don't understand. But when you grow up, you're actually thankful that you were raised in a disciplined household where when you did shit that was wrong, you got your ass beat because you're now well mannered. You know, instinctively, like naturally, you do things that are well mannered. Right now, the lessons we do may seem like, oh, y'all just want to get on us. Y'all just always talking shit about this or shit about that. In Jacob's trouble, you're gonna be, if you took heed, you're gonna be grateful that you did. If you didn't, you gonna wish that, man, I wish I wasn't so like, you know, butthurt. I wish I wasn't so in my feelings whenever I heard these things because what they're saying is actually facts. When it actually starts happening, what like think about it. What do you actually do if you've been living off of these government assistance programs and then they actually cut these programs? Like, what do you actually do in that time or in that position? People were crying that TikTok went down for like a couple of hours, right, a day or so, talking about this how I make my money and yada yada yada. What do you do when your way of living gets cut? And you think, all right, I'm gonna go to my parents' house and they tell, I'm sorry, we can't help you. You know, I love you, but you got to find a way to do something. That's what we're telling you. That's the reality we're telling you you're about to face very soon. And as a result, you're gonna need to seek out help. You know, everybody needs help at some point. We all need help at some point. That's why we're seeking up our help now. You know what I'm saying? But you in that time, where's your help gonna be? You pushed everybody away. They literally pushed everybody away. Oh hell no! I don't want to talk to nobody. I want to. Don't talk to me. Don't. They literally tell you when they go on these platforms, don't even bother coming into my DMs. Don't try to talk to me. I'm gonna expose your ass unless you buying me this or doing that. Don't come up to me. That's what you're doing. You're literally pushing everybody away and putting yourself in a barrier. So when that hell breaks loose, you got to now come out that barrier. Nobody's out there waiting for you. Yeah, oh yeah, all right, cool. You got it.
I just want to add, when you talking about them pushing guys away, you have this new thing now where they're talking about, hey, just send the Cash App. You know, that's how you got to approach a girl. You know, hey, don't wait. What's your Cash App? You know, and the Lord said that He's going to make a man more precious than fine gold. So women looking for men to give them money. Well, the Lord said, I'm gonna make my men of the Lord more valuable than money in that day. You see? And when you go into that word precious, it means rare. So it's not even going to be a lot of men that you're going to be able to find. It's only going to be a small number, which is going to make us even more rare and more precious. To the point where, as you said before, the shift is going to be, we're going to be picking and choosing. And the thing is, we're not going to be in the kingdom. We're going to have like a plethora of women. But on this side, we ain't going to be picking that many, we got thousands, hundreds of women behind us. Hell no. We're gonna be saying the ones with the least amount of bodies on y'all. That's the one we want. And it's gonna be a small number.
That's it. Hey, God, that's exactly right. You know, and you're gonna wish. You see now, hey, you see, the Lord really set it up nicely because it's gonna all these things are gonna work against you. Now you're like, oh, I want to go out there. I want to haul around. You got what's her name, Lily Phillips or whatever her name is. I'm trying to sleep with this many men. Now, Lily, who do you think you're gonna come across? The only men that you're gonna need are men of the Lord. And we are ones that despise the shit that you're doing. So which man of the Lord you think you're gonna find and come up to talking about, you know, it's gonna be look. Looks ain't gonna matter because every woman is gonna be pulling up. They're all in the same case. So if you think you're gonna use your looks to override your history, it's not gonna work. So looks, that's to the side. Why should we, you know what I'm saying? Why should I hire you? You know, why should I pick you over her? She said she ain't never been outside, she ain't dealt with no man. Yo, whole ass, I saw you on freaking OnlyFans doing some wild, crazy slop top shit. Why should I pick you? Because remember, we got to be reasonable here. Like if you ever seen the Boondocks, there was an episode when they had the fried chicken flu, and Huey basically came up with a plan for him, his brother, and granddad, and that was it. And that plan was like, all right, we have enough food for the three of us. We got enough electricity and everything. We not accepting nobody else in here. It's only for us. And you have to think like that because in that time, like the elder said, having 1,000 women, having even freaking 20 people with you is going to be a lot. If you got to cross the street with 20 people, that's, all right, make sure this one is good, two is good, three are good, go. Like everything you got to do it times 20. You got to feed somebody, feed times 20. That means the food that you're going to look for, if one store only has 5 miles worth, you got to look at 5 times whatever, 4, right? So there's a lot more work to maintain a lot more people with you, and you don't want that. That means if you got to call the numbers, why am I picking you over her? She has more value to me. Because in my mind, if it be the Lord's will, I'm taking her into the kingdom. I don't want to take, I would rather you get a reset, and I'm going to get the reset version of you over there. I want to take this over there. So you got to think about that now that they talk about going whole around, enjoy your life. When that time comes, the Lord is going to let us know your track record. Like when you read in the book of Kings, I believe it was Jeroboam's wife that came to Elisha basically to try and ask about the health of their child. And before she even got there, the Lord told Elisha already, Jeroboam's wife is coming and she going to ask X, Y, and Z, tell her this. And she disguised herself. And the second she got there, he already knew. So the Lord is going to let us know just by looking at you, who you are, what you've done. Like, what's this guy? Ghost Rider with the penance there. We're going to be able to tell who you are and what you've done. And if you dare try to lie, man, so the life you're living now is going to come and affect you in that time. If you don't want to live a godly life, don't come to a godly man in that time trying to get godly benefits.
Hey, also too, the women who the Lord's going to pair them with us in the end, they're going to have a different spirit too that we're going to be able to pick out right away. Like you could tell a woman who's a whore versus a woman who's more modest in this society just based on there's a light that they have in their eyes. Their skin is more comely. It's more delicate. They have a delicate vibe to them. They're very soft. So you can tell. Compared to these whores that have been ran through, they're very bold and aggressive. You know what I'm saying? So you can tell even just by looking at that alone, on that small little carnal tip alone, you could differentiate. Just based on the vibration that they're gonna be feeding off of you and you feeding off of them. How she gonna approach you, right? It's gonna be different compared to a woman who's a whore that's been ran through. For her, she's coming in the mindset of, what can you do for me? Compared to a woman who's more modest, she's gonna be coming in with like, how can I help you? How can I be of service to you? Like all the women in the ancient world who are actually on a modest type of time, they always seeked the man's approval. They always came in and asked, what can I do for you, my lord? If the man gave an order, they were right there on it to make it happen. Manoah and his wife, when they encountered the angel that came to them, right? He told his wife, "Yo, go prepare a kid, and let's make something nice for this man over here." And she went ahead and did it. Abraham and Sarah, when those angels came to Abraham, what did he say? He told Sarah, "Yo, go prepare something nice, and let's do what we got to do here. Make sure we serve these men." So these women are going to be in a similar mindset, in the sense that this man is special. They're going to see it. The Lord's going to reveal it to them. They're going to see it. You got sisters on coming board right now that could see it. So in them days, they're going to all see the same thing. Like, no, this man is precious. I got to be by his side no matter what. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes that he tells me to do so I could be safe, because I don't want to end up like these other women over here. They're going to be, hey, there's a sister that had a dream that she was like in a barn somewhere, and like a brother came and saved her when she was about to get raped or something. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of the night, all by herself. She managed to escape, and then now she's stuck somewhere. She doesn't know where to go, how to go about it, whatever the case may be. And then boom, the Lord sent a man of the Lord to you and protect you. Now, you think a woman in that situation getting protected by that man, you think she's just going, yeah, I'm good now. I got it now. No. She's going to be like the woman in Bushwick and the woman in the book of Eli. Yo, I got to be by your side. You just saved my life. From all these guys, yeah, I got to definitely be by your side. I'll do whatever you want. Whatever you say, I'm willing to do. And those are the women that, Lord willing, going to be with us on that chariot. Man. But for the rest of the hoes, it's over with, man. And I want to say one more thing, too. It's very interesting how, especially Jake right now, is so proud, because this is the least time you should be ever proud. Why? The guy in power right now, so-called President Trump, right? When he was here 8 years ago, he had, I forget the guy's name. He was a doctor, though, but he was part of his cabinet. And he was a Jake. Not that many Jakes, but there was a Jake in there. This time around, This nigga ain't got no jakes whatsoever. Not no Jake man. Forget about Jake women. If anything, he's coming in and undoing what the previous administration did by hiring all these women were in power positions just because she's a so-called black woman, and they were advancing so-called DEI. So what did that do? It made a lot of you women become very lackadaisical. It made you very you didn't give a fuck basically. Like your carelessness went to a whole nother level. Okay, from 2020 till now, you've seen a change in women's attitudes like never before. Because prior to 2020, you didn't have shit like OnlyFans like that. People were very like, low key with the shit. Within the past 4 or 5 years alone, you've seen whoredom like never before. You've seen madness like never before. You've seen people out of their minds like never before. And yesterday I was driving and the spirit hit me like, yo, this year, the summertime especially, we're going to see a lot of bugged out people just out in the streets, just like that. Right? Whatever the spirit is doing right now, you're going to see a lot of people just bugged out. Like you're going to see people walking and talking to themselves like demons, like literally demons on people. And they're going to be fucking people up, chopping people's heads off, slicing people. It's going to be weird energy going on in the streets very soon. Just watch. Right? And who's going to be affected by that the most? The women. There's going to be a target against you women, man. The Lord is going to send a demonic spirit on a whole bunch of people to target you women. You so-called pretty women, you adulterous women, you sluts, you whores. The Lord's going to send angels after all you women, man. Going outside by yourself is never going to be safe no more. You're not going to feel safe anymore because men are not trying to protect you. You're going to get hit with the side of the face with a brick. And the man is going to look at you like, yo, hey, man, hey, I don't want to get hit by a brick either because these niggas are soft too. So that's what instead of coming to protect you, he's protecting himself from you. Shit. So that's how it's going to be. The Lord is really about to put a very harmful spirit upon people in Babylon, man. It's going to be funny to watch, and like I said, Trump, his whole cabinet ain't no Jakes in there. So just let that sink in for 1 second. Ain't going to be nobody who's going to go to his side and be like, hey, listen, man, let's take it easy on our black and brown communities. Nah, nigga, ain't nobody there to fight for you. No black DI woman, no black nigga in there, nothing. It's all white people. It's all straight up J's and shit. So it's over with, man. They're about to push that agenda, and it's the agenda of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai ultimately. See? So you're getting the warning now. Like before, I use that example of that oncoming traffic. The oncoming traffic is the warning right now. Ezekiel 3:17. So eventually, when it hits, it's over. Ain't nobody gonna come in there and try to pat you up and lift you out the streets. Bitch, you broken. Ain't nothing to lift. It's over with. All right? So yeah, that's all I had. You got it, bros.
Done. Where we at with that? Isaiah 13, right? So,
Now, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 12, and it reads, I will make a man more precious than fine gold.
yep, the Lord said that, right? He's going to make a man more precious than fine gold. So not even as precious, but more precious than fine gold. Right? You know how people feel about money now in this time, right? Go ahead.
Even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir.
Yeah, even a man in the golden wedge of Ophir. Go ahead. There's a bit more on that.
Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place.
Yeah, and when the Lord is doing that with all the calamities that are coming upon the face of the earth, one, having somebody that knows what's going on, and two, or somebody that has the spirit of the Lord on them, that's going to be top priority to be around said individuals. And we're going to be good because we got the Lord with us. So we're going to be all right. But you're going to be seeking better the Lord who can tell you one what to do and who can have that hedge of protection with him. All right. So guess what, man? When that time comes, when the darkness starts setting in, you have literally and I say no idea what is going on or what to do. You don't know what you at work or you wherever you at, and some shit goes down immediately. If you're trying to call 911 or call your family and there's no signal, there's no service, that's when real fear starts to set in. And then people start asking anybody they see, please, I need help, and everybody's worried about themselves. Yo, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Like, yo, let go of me. I gotta find my way out of here too. I remember years ago, there was this one time I was on the train. It was like late. I was coming back home from work, and the train just stopped at a random stop that it usually doesn't stop at. And they sent everybody to get off the train. This train ain't going nowhere. And I remember the conductor started getting tight because he kept saying, "Get off the train. The train is not gonna go anywhere. It's just it's stuck here. It's not going anywhere." And everybody just standing there. Oh shit, damn. I think he said the train ain't going nowhere. Oh, he did? All right, cool. And they just standing there. And I'm here standing there, wait, time out. So why I still in the man? I started moving, and then everybody started, hey, oh, I guess we gotta go. So people looking around, they trying to find the exit. Where do we go and shit? People stressed out. I'm like, you guys act like you've never taken transportation before. And then there was some chick that she was asking, oh, you know where we go? I said, look, I'm walking, man. I know once you go up above surface, the same path the train is taking on the ground is the same path we taking on land. You just go to the next bus stop, you know? She's like, oh, okay, all right, let me come with you. And every freaking stop, yo, are you sure this the right way? Are we dead, man? It got to the point I just started walking. I said, look, you either gonna walk or you not. I'm walking. Now she's stuck because she don't know where she's at. She's wondering, I'm supposed to take this train over here. I'm not sure. I mean, I should have stayed. And that alone, I'm like, yo, it's just a train. Like, worst case, you call Uber from where you at and go home or something. The train just stopped. And that's that I forgot the term for it. Pastor Hall always says it, but it's something syndrome where if a plane was crashing, everybody would stay seated until somebody got up and said, hey, we gotta actually go. Like do some shit. They would just sit there like sheep. Like knowing the plane is crashing, you're still sitting there unless somebody starts it, nobody else is gonna do anything about it. And that's exactly what happened there on that train. If nobody moved, everybody would have been standing there while the conductor's telling you, get off the train, this shit ain't moving. And in that time, it's like a follower mindset. And in that time, the men of the Lord, they're gonna be leaders in the sense that they're gonna be moving based off of the spirit. If the spirit says, nah, this ain't the right place to be, we're not gonna go there. You know, and the Lord will make it apparent to you, like, no, don't go there, go over here. Don't follow this person, go with that one. And a lot of people, what?
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome, the water. Yep. A lot of people are going to end up getting themselves killed by following the multitude because they're going to follow the group. You see that a lot. They're going to follow the big group. Nah. I know it's over here. Let's go over here. They're going to go get merch. And the spirit's going to tell you, no, don't go that way. Go over here. I was watching a anime with like that where, in long story short, in the setting, you had two leaders, right? One was like the so-called hot shot. Everybody was like, "Oh, this guy, he's from a rich family. I'm going with him. I know I'm safe with him." And you had the other one, which was he was up there, but nobody really knew. And so he just said, "Look, how about we split? You go this way, we'll go that way." And you had only a few people that actually went with him, and there was this one chick that was with the main group. She sensed something in this guy. She said, "You know what? I think I'm gonna go with him." Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I think I'm gonna go with him. Guess what happened? That group, this big ass head nigga got his helmet on, he got his sword and shield. He like, yo, you follow me, all right? You do what I say. And this dude got there, they switched scenes and came back. His whole crew was dead. Cooked, mauled, destroyed by bears and shit. And this nigga trembling, fucking snot out his nose, his eyeballs, he just like stressed. You know, meanwhile, the other guy was good. And that woman, her life was saved because she perceived this guy, I need to go with this guy. He's like, he knows his shit. There's something different about him that I need to be with him. Because this guy over here, he has the big group. You would think that they would be fine. Murked. And in that time, the Lord is going to guide us in the spirit. Yo, go here. Don't go there. And that's going to add to making a man more precious than fine gold. If we're at a forked road and this man says go left and we go left, and you start hearing screams from the right, you're going to be like, oh shit. Thank God I was with this man, because if I wasn't, I would have been done. You know, and that instance is going to happen time and time again. What you got on that? Matter of fact, give me Second Ezra, chapter 16, starting I think around verse 7. You got it, Quan.
I just wanted to add to that, and the difference in why those men of the Lord are going to be delivered is because, as you said, the spirit that is telling them, that is guiding them, is what? The Holy Spirit, the Spirit of truth. So everybody in that time is going to be having that voice in their heads, right? To tell them, oh, hey, go this way, this is going to save you. Go this way, this is going to save you. But there's only one voice that is actually going to be telling you the truth. And that voice is with the men of the Lord, the Rakak Wadash, the Holy Spirit. See? So in this scripture, Sirach 3, verse 24, it says, for many are deceived by their own vain opinion. You know, a lot of people, they're not looking for the Spirit of the Lord to guide them. Right, they're looking for, you know, their own spirit to tell them what to do, or Esau, the vibration of this world, you know, the things of this flesh, as you know, as you just said, looking at it from a fleshly sense. Oh, there's more people that's going this way, so it must be right. And the scriptures talks about how trust not in cursed be he that put his trust in flesh. You see, we're not putting our trust in flesh. We're not looking at, oh, well, there's more people this way, so that means that this got to be the correct way, right? No, we're looking at it as the scripture tells you, follow not a multitude to do evil. You see? So that vain opinion is going to deceive them into them going down that wrong path. But the Holy Spirit, which is the spirit of truth, is going to tell us the right way because it can't tell us the wrong way. The spirit of
Right.
truth can't lie. It can't lie to us and tell us, go down this way, you're going to be safe.
Right.
No, if it tells us, if the spirit that the little voice, the spirit that's in our head tells us to go this way, that's because that's the right way to go, and that's the way that's going to deliver us. It says, "And an evil suspicion has overthrown their judgment." All right, so the first part is the main part, that many are deceived by their own vain opinion. Okay, that's why we don't move based off of what we think. People are like, oh, well, what do you think this says? Or what do you think this means? Well, we're not going to tell you what we think. We're going to tell you what Yahweh Bashim Yahushai says. And that's ultimately because that's the spirit of truth that's in us that can only tell us what the Heavenly Father says, because what the Heavenly Father says is always true. That's it.
Right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Guys, then we'll close it off on this in a second.
Yeah, this back to the elder brought out. This is straight to the point. This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. So it's pretty much straight to the point. You can't lean on your own understanding, your own mind. Scripture tells you that in Jeremiah. The heart, which is your mind, is deceitful above all things. Who can know it? So that's why you're supposed to trust the Lord, and He will be the one that directs your path, tell you where to go and what to do.
Right. Bring that up.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 74, and it reads, Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts.
Yeah, just like the elder was saying, right? That's going to be that voice in our head pointing us to the right direction. That's the guide of the Most High.
Saith the Lord, so that your sins prevail not, and your iniquities gain not the upper hand.
There you go. And so we're not going to be afraid in these times, even from now, right? All the way, like King David said, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, because the Lord is going to be the one that's comforting us, guiding us, and leading us down the right path. It's his movie, it's his game, it's his set, and we're characters in his script. So the Lord is the one that's going to lead us, all right, through it all, thick and thin. All right. Brother, got anything else? Right, anything else on your side? All right. Cool. Perfect. So with that, Lord willing, this is edifying to the elect and pleasing to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. In closing, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai Ba'asham Rachak Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.
Hey, Shalom, Ma'akim, Yahweh Shemel Shabbat, Shalom to the elect, Shalom to the house of David.
Shalom to the elect. Shalom. Yahweh Shabbat. Shalom.
Shalom.